Hello, everybody. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Amy. Hi, Rosia. No, let me see if I can change I thought I had updated that. It looks like that they can't use their mics and cameras. So let
Mm.
me work on that.
Hello, Ashley. Ashley put it in the chat.
Okay. I'm like, I literally changed that feature right before we started. So let's see. Hi, everybody. You should be able to use your mic if you'd like, or your camera if you'd like, as you come in. We are going to give folks just a few more minutes to join, and then we'll get started. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our HMIS onboarding for the TANF award. It is 1 o'clock, so I want to be mindful of everybody's time so that we can get started on time. And we'll let people trickle in if they're joining. This webinar is going to be recorded. It actually is already recording, and I'll be putting it up on the TANF webpage and sending it out in an email alongside the overview presentation and webinar we did yesterday. And if you weren't at the claims onboarding training yesterday either, that has been recorded. So I'll be sending those out along with this recording so that you can always use it and go back to it for future reference. But thanks for joining. My name is Laura Drasic. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the TANF analyst. And today we have the wonderful Abigail here from our HMIS team here at IHCDA, and um, she's going to go over how to navigate HMIS and then go over some specific TANF items. So, Abigail, you want to do a little introduction and we can jump right in?
Yeah, thank you, Laura. My name is Abigail. I am on the HMIS team. My pronouns are she, her. I am the newest member on the HMIS team. So if you have worked with IHCDA in the past, you may remember me from the HHID team. But now I'm here. So I'm excited to cover this content with you all. If you have already been in HMIS or DB client track, some of this is going to just be a reminder until we get to the second half of the presentation. The second half of the presentation is going to be all TANF specific. So this first half is good reminders. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am one of three other HMIS data analysts on the HMIS team here at IHCDA, and our manager, Brendan Devitt. He is the new HMIS manager. I wanted to provide our email addresses here. You may have already communicated with Brendan for your new project setup or new org setups, but you can always contact us via these email addresses here. We're going to talk about another way to contact us through our help desk, which would be the quickest way to get a response from our team. But here's a little bit of an introduction to the HMIS team. Next, a little overview of the balance of state. So this is pulled straight from our website. We, the IHCDA, we accept and review grant applications for annual program funding. We administer grant awards to partners, train on coordinated entry implementation. We manage the HMIS system, which is the Homeless Management Information System. And we oversee the annual statewide PIT and HIC, the point in time, and the housing inventory counts, which I think Laura touched on a little bit in her general TANF onboarding training earlier this week. We also promote housing first approaches throughout the state. If you would like to learn a little bit more about the balance of state, our regional structure, chaired people in your region, how that's broken out, your CE contact, PIT coordinators, all of that information, have a little bit of it here on the screen and our regional structure breakout. But the COC engagement email address here, if you would like to learn a little bit more about these committees or the board or how to get involved, feel free to send an email here to the COC network engagement team. So let's dive into some of our general resources. So these are going to be day-to-day resources. Everything I cover in the presentation is going to be accessible on this HMIS resource page. So this is kind of our hub for all HMIS and DV client track related items. And before I get started, I do want to clarify the difference between DV client track and HMIS. So DV client track is our comparable HMIS data system for our DV service providers. So if you are a DV service provider who just received a TANF grant, your grant will be set up in DV client track. So this is a closed system in comparison to the HMIS system. And that means that all client data is restricted to your organization and it cannot be viewed by other users at other organizations. And the intention behind this is that it should protect all of the sensitive information and the sensitive nature of that data that is collected in that environment. So here on the screen, we have our system access links. So this is where you'll actually access the Indiana HMIS system and the Indiana DB client track systems. I have the resource page here linked. Again, everything we talk about today will be on that resource page. So it's a great hub to have saved. You can even bookmark it in your browser so that it is a quick find, quick toolkit. Next, let's move into the help desk. So we have two different help desk email addresses here, one for the HMIS system and one for the DB client track system. So when you are submitting a question to the help desk, you will send it to your respective help desk based on which system you are functioning in. I believe most of you on the call today are in the HMIS system, but I'm going to keep referring to both throughout the call. So the help desk addresses a number of questions. So any report question that you may have, or if you're having an issue running a report in the HMIS system, we'll talk a little bit more about those reports here in a minute. Any chat tool or CE related questions. So if you're an organization that is actively doing CE or performing those chat assessments, you can send those questions there to the help desk. We can do client data correction. So maybe a client's information was entered incorrectly and that needs to be corrected, or if there needs to be a merge. If you would like to request data from the HMIS system or have help in what report would produce the kind of data that you need for your organization, you can send those to the help desk as well. We can change enrollments. So maybe you've enrolled your client in TANF housing prevention, but really needed to enroll them in your rapid rehousing program. We can change those enrollments. We also do reactivation and password resets. So when we get you set up in the system, you'll have a specific username and a password that you create for the systems. But if you do need those reset or a new password created, we do those through the help desk. We also do site administrator updates. So each organization will have a designated site administrator. That can change at any moment. We're going to talk about that in the next slide. But any edits or changes to that site administrator and who's designated as that person, those changes come through the help desk. We can also do training information requests. So if you would like to add a new user to your organization in HMIS or DB Client Track, we can do them there. And finally, new project requests. So if your organization is bringing on a new project, maybe it's supportive services, maybe it's street outreach, you would request those new projects through the help desk as well. Okay, moving into that site administrator overview and that role. So the site administrator for both HMIS and DV Client Track is that person who is the main contact for all communication from the HMIS team. You are responsible for requesting new project or needed services, and you're also responsible for requesting new system access for users. So that site administrator should be sending in all requests for new projects and all requests for new users added to the HMIS system. You do not have to add those new projects or those new users yourself. The HMIS team will do that. We would like those requests to come from the site admin themselves. Additional site admin requirements. The site admin is required to maintain an active HMIS or DB Client Track account at all times. That just ensures that you're actively in the system. You're seeing the updates on our news page, on our global news board, those kinds of things. But again, you can request that the role of that site administrator can be transferred at any time to another staff member. You would just need to notify the help desk and provide their new email address for us. Okay, talking a little bit more about adding new users to the system. So a new user in the system, well, let me backtrack a little bit. Each user has a very unique login and password to the system, and they shouldn't be shared between users. But we can always add new users to your project, to your organization, by having the users complete the HMIS new user or DB Client Track new user trainings. You will also complete an HMIS or DB Client Track security training. And these trainings are pre-recorded, can be watched on demand. They are about an hour and a half in total between the two trainings. The new user training being a little bit longer and the security training being pretty short and brief. After completing those two trainings, the new user submits a HMIS user agreement or a DV service provider DV Client Track user agreement. And those can come through the help desk. The site admin would notify the help desk that the trainings are complete and then attach those user agreements to that ticket and let us know that these users need to be set up. So what we do on the HMIS side of the house is we just verify that those trainings have been completed. We add them to the new user account. We verify that the user agreement is filled out with all of the necessary information. And then we would add that to the account and we get you set up with a new password and login. It is really important to ensure the security of our system that all new user requests are submitted to the help desk by the site admin. So we just know at that point that you're giving the okay for this person to be in the system and to be assigned to your organization. And I have those user agreements here at the top in these little tan bubbles, the PDFs that you can fill out here. All of the resources that I discussed in this presentation should be linked and clickable once we send this presentation out later. Okay, moving into the HMIS notice and posting of security practices. So we have a 2024 HMIS notice and posting of privacy practices document. Two separate, there's a shorter version and a longer version. It is required to be in the HMIS system that you publish the 2024 HMIS privacy practices to your agency website if you do have one. So that would be a link, it could be embedded, it could be a full page. That is up to you and your discrepancy at the agency. But we would like that privacy posting to be published on the website if you do have one. Additionally, the shorter version of the Notice of Privacy Practices, and I have a copy of it on the screen here, we ask that this is posted at each workstation where an agency staff member may be working with a client in the HMIS or DB client track systems. This allows the client to see what their data is being used for, what they're agreeing to with their system being put in the HMIS system or the DB client track system. So again, I have both of those linked here on the page, and these will take you back to the hub where you can download these and upload them to your website or print out copies for your workstations. Moving to another resource that we have, our system user manuals. So we have an HMIS user manual and a DB client track user manual. If you are someone who likes to read through a document on how to security policies and procedures, an overview of features in both of the systems, management of client information and program enrollments, and then some of the how-to guides on how to run those service summary reports or various system workflows. We have these two documents. I love a PDF where I can control find in that document, and that may be beneficial. All of this content is also covered in your new user training, and various pieces of this have been broken out into shorter how-to guides. So however you would like to access this information, these user manuals are linked on that resource hub page. Now moving into our HMIS security and data quality plans. Again, I've got both linked here at the top of the screen. Our HMIS security plan covers our current security requirements for the system, policy procedures in order to report a security breach. So if your organization experiences a security breach, hopefully not, hopefully never, but there are policies and procedures in hand for if something like that happens. It can be someone's accessed the system and they've not had permission to. It could be an email was compromised. Those kinds of things we would like to be notified of at the help desk so that we can respond to them accordingly. But that security plan does go over those policies and procedures in more detail than what we're going to cover today. It also covers data sharing across providers, what data's disposal looks like, and our recommendations for that. It covers client grievances and a grievance procedure. If you have a client who has a grievance and who to send that grievance to. And then also if a client revokes the authorization for their data, it also covers what to do in that situation so that we can keep the system secure with a policy in place. Our HMIS data quality plan. So this includes some highlights, data quality elements and benchmarks that we're looking to accomplish. Our monitoring plan here at the IHCDA for the HMIS team, the impact of your data quality and what that means for our team and for our federal reports. And it also includes some additional resources for end users. So I'm going to cover a slide a little bit later on when we get to the TANF portion of this presentation, where we talk a little bit more about data quality and your role in data quality as a TANF project. Let's move to our how-to guides. So this is going to be the last item in our HMIS General and DB Client Track General overview. This is a screenshot from our resource hub page. There are a number of how-to guides here that the team has developed to help users navigate the system, navigate reports, and things of that nature. All of these are clickable on that resource hub. I've got a link to the how-to guides here on the screen. I've pulled out a few of these that we're going to cover in this call today that are more specific for your TANF project. But I would recommend keeping this in your back pocket as you maybe have new projects or new responsibilities. These tools here may be beneficial. And we're always looking to improve and develop new how-to guides. So if you have a request for a new how-to guide or tool, feel free to also send those to the help desk and we can try to accommodate. Okay, so now we're going to move into the more TANF specific items. I wonder if there are any questions in the chat or if anyone wants to come off mute for any of the content we've covered up to this point.
No
Perfect.
questions in the chat yet, but
Perfect.
yeah.
All right. Well, we will move right along to the TANF side of this presentation if you don't have any questions. All right. So this is going to be a little organization and project overview. So for our organizations that are already set up in the HMIS system or the DB client track system, your organization will stay the same. If you are a new organization in the HMIS or DB client track system, your org name in the system will appear as you provided it on your new project setup or your new org setup form. And those were sent via job form to our help desk. I know we received a few of those. So that org name will be just as you provided, or it will stay the same. The project name. So whether you were funded for TANF rapid rehousing or TANF homeless prevention or both, this is the nomenclature of what these projects will look like in the system. So TANF, your organization name. Sometimes we have to shorten those organization names a little bit depending on their size, their length. And then rapid rehousing or homeless prevention. And then you'll see an RRH or an HP. And then your region number. So what region you're located in the balance of state. So those are how those projects will appear in the system. So through all of the drop downs that you choose, you'll see those projects listed in that way. And then when you are set up in the system with your projects and things like that, we will send you what those projects names look like. I believe we have all of the projects set up, but I don't know if we've notified all of the organizations yet. Okay, jumping into an overview of your services. So there are 11 services associated with TANF projects. Case management, C assessment, housing search and placement, housing stability, last month's rent, rental arrears, rental assistance payments, security deposit. All of these will appear in the system as I have them here on the screen. You'll see a TANF and then dash those services. So you may have other projects with case management services tied to those, but this is how they will appear for your TANF projects. And we're going to go a little bit more into services here in a moment. Okay, so now we're going to talk about adding services to a client's enrollment. So there are a number of ways to navigate to a client's dashboard. I'm not going to cover all of them today in the call, but they are covered in your new user training if you're new to the system. But first, you navigate to that client's tab. So it's going to be the same no matter how you navigate from here on, but you navigate to that client's tab. Once you're on the client's dashboard, and I've blinked out a little bit of information here from our system, and I've picked on Aurora here for the project enrollment a little bit for this demo. So you'll select that client tab. You'll then select client enrollment and client services. And then after that, you select services. And you should see when you're working with a client that's been enrolled properly in your TANF project, you will see that enrollment pop up here with the TANF project name. All right, after you've selected that option of the TANF service or of these services, you will then select add new services. You will then see client name, social security number, client ID, and you will see family income information at the top of the screen. It's always great to verify that this information is correct before you add that service. But next, you will select your TANF rapid rehousing or homeless prevention enrollment for the client, and it will have the date here that the client has been enrolled in that project to verify as well. You will then select the correct grant. So in this case, it's the TANF Aurora Homeless Prevention Grant. And then you'll select your service. So from the drop down here, you'll see all 11 services. And I do want to clarify that the 11 services are tied to both rapid rehousing and those homeless prevention projects. So you will see the same services for each project. Moving right along, you will then add the correct date. It'll auto set for the day that you are in the system and have selected the services, but you can backdate that service as well if need be. You will then verify the correct unit of measure. And I say verify because the system will auto prompt to which service. So when you select a service like case management, it'll auto select hours that's associated with that service itself. Now, if you were to click something like arrears of last month's rent, it'll auto select $2 for that unit of measure. From there, you then select the correct units. You select the correct unit value, and then you're going to select save. So if you do have a service that has a value, so that would be any of our payments, any of our services that are tied to a dollar amount, you would leave that units bubble empty or as one and enter the amount of the payment in the unit value. And you'll see at the bottom here for the total, it should add up to what that payment is in total that was paid to the client or for the service. If the service is hourly based, then you enter the number of hours spent in the units bubble, and you can leave that unit value empty. Again, you just select save here at the bottom of the screen, and then that service should be tied to that client's enrollment and to their dashboard. Again, those services do auto select the correct unit of measure when you choose them from that dropdown. But here on the screen, I've got them represented. So hours versus dollars, and which services are tied to which unit of measure. All right, moving into another tool. So adding case notes. So we're already looking at a client page here. We're going to select, we're on their client dashboard. We're going to select the client profile and then select case notes. And then from there, you select add a new case note. I know that these case notes are required for the TANF projects. So when we navigate to that page, we're going to see the entry date. So you'll fill out the entry date. So that's the date that you're entering this note for the client. You'll enter the user, so that would be yourself. Regarding, you can type in a little short breakdown of what the conversation was about or what you were writing a case note regarding. And then you would input your information into the case note fields. So that could be client name. An example we have on the screen here is met with client and completed the intake. We do have the ability to import specific templates into the HMIS system or DB client track system for case notes. So if you have one that you would like that you maybe have been using outside of the system that you would want put in here, as long as it's a one-page template, we should be able to do that for you. You would just need to reach out to the HMIS or DB client track help desk and we can get those uploaded. If not, it's pretty standard formatting for these case notes. But again, that added functionality is available. So after you enter your case note, you would then select save. Alrighty, so if we need to review a case note, when we navigate to that case note page, we would see here all of the case notes that have been completed for a client. We can also select the 3 dots next to each of the case notes. So if you have more than one in here, you'll see them below this drop down. You can view that case note. You can edit that case note. If you need a case note deleted in HMIS or DB client track, please reach out to the help desk. Let us know that you have a case note that needs to be deleted. Let us know the client ID and the date that the case note was created, and we can delete that case note for you. It's also very important that when you're communicating to the help desk about a client profile or a client dashboard, that you just include this client ID number. So we don't want, so this is a false person here in the system. Their name is Shining Star. But we do not want to receive any PII to the help desk. So no social security numbers, full names. Really, this client ID allows us to pull up all of the client profiles in the HMIS or DB client track systems. So when you're including client information like that on a ticket, just include that client ID number. Alrighty, moving through the housing move-in date walkthrough. So for our rapid rehousing programs, when you need to add a housing move-in date, you would then navigate to the enrollment on the screen, and here you'll see it says My Fake Organization COC Rapid Rehousing. It will say TANF, your organization, Rapid Rehousing, and then the region that you're in. You'll select the three dots next to the active enrollment, and you'll see the drop down here. So we see add household member, view case numbers, exit the enrollment. We're going to select edit project entry workflow. Next, we're going to navigate to the HUD program enrollment page. This is about 2 pages in after you select that edit project workflow. On the 2 pages prior, you would just select save no changes as you work through the workflow. It'll just pull over the client's information that you've already covered. This is the screen that we will need to make that edit and add that housing move-in date. So you'll select this little box here, you'll add the correct housing move-in date, and then you'll select save. And then at that point, the client will have a housing move-in date reported for their enrollment. Oh, I don't know why it's not coming up on the screen. Okay, so for running the residential move-in date report, I wonder if that's a transition. That's not. There we go. Awesome. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Okay, residential move-in date report. So this is a custom report built into the HMIS, the DB client track system, that allow you to identify which households are missing a move-in date. So first you'll navigate to the housing. Let me grab my laser pointer back here. Just a moment. Okay. So you'll select the reports tab, the reports work group, and this is on the left side of your screen in DB client track and HMIS. You'll navigate to the other reports option drop down, and then you'll select this residential move-in date report. The next screen will pop up. You'll select what program you want to run this residential date move-in report for. So that would be your rapid rehousing project. And then you'll select the start date and the end date that you want to look for. And then select report. I think I've got the same situation. Okay, there we go. So what this is going to do, it's going to run a report here in the HMIS and DB client track system. It'll pop up. It's a pretty quick report to run. You can then export this to Excel if you would like to. What you can do by doing that, you can then filter by case name, and that will make it easier to see which of your head of household do not have a residential move-in date. You can also leave the report in HMIS or DB client track and look here to this last column, the residential move-in date column, and you can see which heads of households are missing a move-in date that really should have a move-in date.
Abigail, could you speak to why it's important to have that move-in date, or especially for those rapid rehousing projects?
Yeah, so it's important to add that move-in date. We want to accurately represent when the client is housed. So that time between when the client is enrolled in the program versus when they are housed is really important. And if we don't add that residential move-in date, then we're not tracking that data point. So we want to be able to add that. That's part of our data quality too as well in the HMIS and DB client trick system is looking at those residential move-in dates. So this report here is quite essential to making sure that these heads of households have that data point reflected.
I think it also is something that's included in um, the PIT and HIC data as well. So if that's something that you are not recording in HMIS, then it's also not going to reflect into that larger kind of statewide data analysis that we do every year. So
Absolutely,
just
yeah. We are in the midst of HIC season, and all of our rapid rehousing projects, the utilization is based off of that move-in date and what is reported on the night of the PIT for our projects. So being able to accurately find those households that are missing those housing moving dates, and it happens. The only way to add it is to go back to that program enrollment, but that report is really helpful for identifying those types of households that are missing them, that you're like, oh, I worked with them, I know they've been housed. Let me go ahead and edit that. So once you find a household that does need a housing move-in date added, you can select straight from that report. It'll bring up this households page here. So you'll see this is the head of household and then the others in this household as well. You would just need to add the housing move-in date for that head of household. So here we've got it inputted and then you click save. So the two resources that we just covered, that residential move-in date report and then a how-to guide for adding a housing move-in date. These are really important tools to keep in your toolbox, and I think that's what Laura and I are trying to stress here in this section of the call. But I've got them linked here on the screen in this little tan bubble as well. Okay, moving into another workflow, we're going to talk about exit assessments. I know that this is a requirement of your TANF projects as well, is doing the exit assessment in the exit workflow. So when it's time to exit a client from our program or from the enrollment that they're in, you would navigate to those three dots on the screen next to the enrollment, and then you're going to select exit the enrollment. This will then bring you to the HUD program exit page, and you'll select the exit date, so the date that they are exiting the enrollment, the project, the destination. And this is a drop down here, and there are a number of options to choose from. We just recommend that you choose the option that best fits the situation of the client. You'll select the exit reason. Your name as the case manager will auto prompt here. And then you do want to select in case assignment. So that is quite important. If you do not select in case assignment, that client will still show up as one of your clients in your case assignment as a case manager. So we do want to make sure that we're exiting that from that client from your exit assignment. So once we've selected that, then we select save. And then the system will prompt you through the exit assessment. Okay, so I know Laura has probably talked about the CAPER in her onboarding call. The Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, or CAPER, is a report that provides an overview of an agency's data quality, their number of clients served, client demographics, etc. It's quite a jam-packed full report, and that report is available on demand. That CAPER is required to be submitted annually by all SEP recipients, but it is recommended that you run that report more frequently than that, maybe as frequently as monthly, to be able to catch those data quality issues, be able to report a number of clients served. There are a number of reports in the system that provide some of this information, some of these demographics. The CAPER is a great report that includes everything in one button. So we do have the CAPER export guide here linked on the screen, and then that CAPER review tool. So both of those are a little more intensive than the workflows we've covered today. So I'm just going to leave them linked here on the screen. That CAPER review tool is especially helpful when you do export this CAPER. It's quite a lot of data because it includes that data quality information, number of clients served, client demographics, things of that nature. With this review tool, you're actually able to view everything within the system, and review and edit those client IDs that you find that need updating, need a move-in date, need maybe a modification as far as their household. It provides the ability to be able to go back to those client IDs quite easily in the system. So you definitely recommend using that CAPER review tool when you're trying to review your CAPER and get things cleaned up for your submission. Okay, lastly, another resource for our rapid rehousing projects. So we, as the HMIS team, hold data quality coffee talks every year. We have our 2024 data quality talks for rapid rehousing available now for you to review. If you would like to dive into how many people were served in 2023 and 2024, our data quality improvement highlights, walkthroughs of the residential move-in date report, or how to add that residential move-in date to an existing enrollment, all of those are covered in this data quality coffee talks. It really provides a better picture of how you contribute to the other rapid rehousing projects that are in the system. So if you are interested in that and you have been funded for a rapid rehousing project, I've got those data quality coffee talks. There are two of them linked on the screen here for your review. We will hold additional rapid rehousing data quality coffee talks in 2025, but we will announce the schedule and the dates for those soon. Okay, that is the end of the content that I have to present today. I wonder if we have any questions.
Okay, I have a question, and I apologize if you've already talked about it, but do is our organization supposed to reach out to you to get um to have access what's the word I'm looking for? To be able to utilize the client track, or do you automatically set us up?
That's a great question. Is it Dana? Dana, what organization are you associated with?
I am with Community Action of Greater Indianapolis, KG.
Okay.
So Dana, I can answer your question because you are a Marion County agency. I've connected, I think, who was it? I've connected a few of your staff members to Chip. So they are the HMIS lead for Marion County agencies.
Oh,
And
okay.
so you will be accessing their HMIS system. And I believe I might have sent it to Terrence and one other
Okay.
person. So you guys will be
Okay.
accessing their system and doing a new user training through
Okay.
them.
Okay.
And then once you do their training, they'll set you up in their system. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, and I can
Great
make sure that
question.
you're added on to those emails, so
Okay.
you can
All
stay
right.
in the
Thank
loop.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Laura, it looks like we have another question that just came through the chat here from Ashley. She says, in the last case assignment program I worked in, we had an all paper format. Are you okay with all digital case noting in HMIS?
Yep, that totally works.
Perfect.
Yep, that's a beautiful way to do it.
Ashley, again, if you would like a specific case note template put into HMIS or DB Client Track, whichever system you are operating out of for your TANF project, feel free to send that to the help desk and we can work on getting that available. Awesome. I'm glad that will make that easier. Any additional questions? I know we threw a lot at you in this overview. Navigating the HMIS and DB client track systems, it's really something as you get into the system and start enrolling clients and tracking services, you will get the hang of it. It's one of those things that you just kind of have to start doing, and you may have questions, but that's what the help desk is here for. So as you run into those, don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. Oh, it looks like Ashley is letting us know she had to write then scan them and then file them to make them digital.
Gosh.
Yeah, that is that is a perk of using the HMIS systems. We would then have access to review those for Laura's reporting and everything like that. So
Hmm. Yeah, I
um,
know in my overview presentation yesterday, I reiterated this multiple times, but I'll do that again here that um, when you all are submitting your monthly claims on IHCDA Online for reimbursement, that is communicating to me that you are also entering your data into HMIS. And so your claims tell me that you are assisting families and using your funds to assist them. And so that also means that you are confirming with me that you're putting your data into HMIS. Um, and then again, I use that data without any of the personal information that you put in towards clients to report to FSSA. So if you are not inputting your data, then I have nothing to report on. So it is a very, very crucial piece for this grant. So if I kind of see those discrepancies, you will be hearing from me. So just wanted to make note of that.
Yeah, that's great, and we do want that data in the system in HMIS or DB client track, because that does help us put together a more accurate representation of the families you're serving in the system. And when we do get to our federal report season, that we're able to report that out as well, because you all are doing incredible work. So we want to be able to represent that. Jennifer, I see a chat from you. Um, I do not recall seeing this tip today, but did you all cover reminding everyone to keep their login active by regularly logging in? I speak from experience. Yeah, that's a great tip that I don't think I covered today. You do need to log into the HMIS system every 20 to 29 days, HMIS and DB client tracked, to prevent being deactivated due to inactivity. It's purely a security measure that we have in place, that the system automatically deactivates accounts after that time. We recommend just setting a reminder, maybe on your calendar, your phone, however best for you, just to sign into the system. You just have to sign in for a second. You can sign right back out, but that will keep your account active in the system. I also will say reactivations and password resets are a little bit of a different situation. When you are set up in the system for the first time, or if you are already in the system, you can always set up a security question. When we recommend setting up that security question, because if you do, on the off chance to forget your password, I mean, it happens, you can enter the answer to that security question, and you are able to reset the password yourself. If not, you do have to submit a help desk ticket to us, and we reactivate that password and set a new temporary password for you on our end. We try to get to all of our help desk tickets within 24 hours. But I do know that if you are working with a client and you go to sign into either system and you don't have access, oh my goodness, there may be a little bit of a panic. So I do recommend setting up that security question as a backup, and then that reminder every 28 to 29 days to sign into the system to avoid that any disruptions in the service that you're able to provide. Great question. Anything else? Or Laura, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, the only thing is I had seen that Robin and Bria were also on this call. And so similarly to Dana's question, you guys are going to be reporting your data into CHIP's HMIS system. So while you did listen to today, I'm not quite sure their system might differ just slightly. So yeah, we'll work together to make sure that those things are corroborating and aligning. So yeah, other than that, this was very, very helpful. And um, yeah, thank you so much for being willing to do this, Abigail, for everyone.
Of course. Oh, it looks like we've got a question here from Amy.
You got it, Amy. I can send you the transcripts. The video yesterday hasn't been sent out, but when I send it to you, I'll definitely include the transcripts. I believe the recording is already on YouTube, but I'm going to send it out via email as well, so everyone has access to it. But I'll make sure to include the transcripts too.
Perfect. And then
We also have, let's see, Ashley's question. I fall into 2 different service areas. Will I have 2 also, or is that specific to Indy? Nope, that's only for Marion County agencies. Ashley, what agency are you with? Western. Nope, you should be good. You should just be using ours. So,
yes, the HMIS and DV client tracking system cover the entire balance of state, which is all of the other counties in the state except for Marion County. So even if your agency is serving across counties, you'll still be in the same system.
yep.
Great question.
And this is the first time I know one of our grants and the community services team has served Marion County too. So this will be a really fun trial to see how this goes with HMIS data and stuff. So thanks for hanging in here with us. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if there are any other HMIS or DV client check related questions, feel free to send those over to the help desk. But I think that's all from me.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Abigail. We'll hang on here for maybe another minute in case people have extra questions, and then we'll hop off. But thank you all for joining. This will be updated on the website, and I'll send out the recording as well. So thank you. All right. Well, we are going to hop off. I'm going to pause the recording. And yeah, thank you so much, Abigail. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.